Hello there. I'm Scotty. You're not. That's pretty good. It's a vitamin water. It's not about the video, but dragon fruit. And it's zero sugar. And I like that because it's not as strong. And dragon fruit, at least the dragon fruit flavor, can be very strong. I've had actual dragon fruit. It's pretty good. I need something to drink with this, so. They didn't have my orange ones like they usually do, but this is also good. Alright, welcome back to Sequel-A-Thon VI. You know, I just realized today I was going to give it a name, like Return of Sequel-A-Thon or something, but maybe I'll do that for 7. We're going to talk about Witchboard 2, and yes, I'm going to keep on doing these. I'm going to just make this a yearly thing. I do one a year. And I started doing Remake-A-Thon. I think I'm going to run out of remakes before I do sequels, so we're going to talk about Witchboard 2, subtitled The Devil's Doorway. Because as you know, when I do Sequel-A-Thons, I don't do the subtitles because I don't want to do Sequel-A-Thon 6 : The Devil's Sequel-A-Thon 6 : Witchboard 2 : The Devil's Doorway. So it's just Witchboard 2. This is the sequel to the original to Witchboard, directed by Kevin S. Tenney, who also directed this. Right? And once back, he directed this. He wrote the first one, right? Yeah. In his directorial debut in 1986, he came back to do this one. This one came out in 1993 and stars the gorgeous Amy Dolenz. I will never stop talking about how gorgeous this woman is. She's old enough to be my mama, but I don't care. She's a gorgeous woman. For reference, because I haven't it out yet, I did a review for Step Monster that will be later on this month, in birth month. She's also in that. She's the babysitter in that. And so I was all going gaga over her, and she is gorgeous in this. What I liked, and I know that they're not supposed to because it's supposed to be a negative because the way that the Ouija board or the Witchboard is affecting her is that it starts out, she's all frumpy, she's wearing these shirts that cover everything, her hair is tied up, and she's all like very prim and proper. And as the movie goes on, she starts to swear, she puts her hair down, she wears more sexual looking clothes, which they say are part of the Ouija board's influence on her, which it's oddly specific. They say that the Ouija board does this, but it also feels like because this ghost, the spirit attached to the Ouija board, was a stripper. So it feels, kind of tailored to that. But we have someone else. We have 2 others that are notable to notice, but there is Lorraine Newman from SNL, and DeWanda. She's DeWanda from Problem Child 2 with the big nose, and John Gatins Scott from Leprechaun 3, before he was in Leprechaun 3, and it's weird because his acting is better in this than in that one. Everybody says that his acting is not very good in that one, and I'll agree, it's not that bad. He always just so wide-eyed and everything. He's not bad in this, though I ultimately feel his character ends up being useless, because throughout the film, it's played as if, because it starts off with Paige moving to this new place. She's moved away from her boyfriend, Mitch, who's a cop, who's an asshole, and he's played that way through the first part of the film. And so when Russell, that's Gatton's character, comes in, he's going to be the new boyfriend, and Mitch is going to have a problem with it. Mitch is going to end up dead from the Ouija board. No, it's the other way around. And Russell, for weird writing reasons, it's a weird writing thing, where he never fully becomes a love interest, because they decided to do a twist that's not really a twist. Let me get to it. But yeah, so we start with Paige. She's an accountant. she's moving into this loft in Los Angeles. And there she meets the landlord, Jonas, who's not the guy from Saw 2 or one of the Jonas brothers. He reminds me of Mr. Trigger from Friends, but it's not. What's the actor's name? Mr. Trigger. It bugs me when I can't remember the actor's name. And I should know his name. Joe Flaherty? No, that's the jackass guy from Happy Gilmore. Come on, get out of here. Get out of Smallville. What the hell happened? Oh, because I think I was on Google and I went there. Okay, hold on. Google. All right. Mr. Trigger. Mr. Trigger, Friends. Mike Haggerty. I was way off. I think I was... Well, Joe Flaherty, Mike Haggerty. I think I was close on the last name. Trying to... Mike Haggerty. It's not him. But he reminds me of him. And he's one of those guys... He hits on her. He's trying to be subtle. He's like, if you need anything, and I mean anything, you call me. She's like, I think I'll be okay. You can tell he's obviously hitting on her, but she has no desire for this. Right? So, like, yeah. In the closet, she discovers a Ouija board, which they call it that throughout the entire film. Much like the first one. Well, the first one everyone just called it a Witchboard once. But you get a title drop in this one. We're like, oh, you know, they used to call it a Witchboard. Which was never mentioned in the first one, but... So she discovers it and she starts messing around with it. She's not supposed to do it alone, but whatever. She gets messages from a woman who... Supposedly a woman named Susan. And it starts to predict things. It says that she's going to get a promotion, which she does. And then she's trying to find some files, and it points her to her co-worker, Carla, who has stolen the files for herself. Right? I think it's during this that the first attack happens. So it's like she contacts the Ouija, but like the attack uses the Ouija board and then it attacks. But I swear it attacks before. It attacks Jonas in his workshop, and he gets incinerated. Flings tools at him. And he locks himself inside the boiler room and then is incinerated when the boiler room goes overheats. Yeah. This is a weird edit because, like, that happens. And then the next scene. So I had to rewind it because she's on the thing talking to the Ouija board. And then. So she has a conversation with Russell. He goes to his photo studio. Where he's like, why don't you have a different look, like something more sexy? She goes, oh, I'm not sexy. I'm like, bullshit. She said, I can't look sexy. Bullshit. Hell no. But, I mean, hell yeah, you could look sexy. Not that frumpy thing, but you get to lay back a little bit. And then it's at it. So I thought, so I had to rewind this and rewatch it, because they pull up, and from my point of view, I see her run up, and then Russell says, they found Jonas dead in the boiler room. And I'm like, wait, the last scene she was just at his photography studio. How's he there before she was? Well, time passed? No, I rewound it. They arrived together, but he jumps out of the car so quickly, you blink and you miss him getting out of the car. He jumps out, runs over to her, to the wife. Oh, by the way, there's a gag where she thinks she's in the 60s because that's when her parents died, or her mother or something. So she's stuck in the 60s. She's using weird things. You have a bad acid trip, man. She names her dog Do after the song, which is, I didn't know this. You and me and a dog named Blue. No, it's not Blue. It's Boo. They said it. I'm like, you know that song, You and Me and a Dog Named Do? Isn't it Boo? You and Me and a Dog Named Boo? No. I'm like, no, it's Blue. You, me, and you and a dog named Blue. I had to look it up. It is Boo. It doesn't sound like that, but that's what it is. The song is called You, Me, and a Dog Named Me, You, and a Dog Named Boo. But you can listen to it. It sounds like Blue. It just does. Yeah, she starts to have fainting spells and stuff that is very connected, we find out, to the Witchboard. She starts painting several paintings of the woman she believes to be Susan. It's weird, like, this is not a normal funeral scene where someone dies because of the funeral. No, there's a scene in between. Then we go to the funeral. At the funeral, Russell tells her that Susan was an exotic dancer, stripper, and she was forced to prostitute herself to Jonas for rent. And she asks how Susan died. He's like, she didn't. She left. As far as I know, she just left. So then she tells her boyfriend, like, hey, search for the Susan Sydney. See if you can find her. And he can't find nothing. There's nothing. I don't think they ever explain why there's nothing, but they explain kind of what happened. But, she uses the Ouija again, and the entity insists that it's Susan and says that she was murdered. So, yeah. She freaks out on the entity, and it shuts the shades on the loft windows. That kind of thing. So Russell and Elaine show up. They're like, what's going on? We heard this noise. And she's like, so they use the Ouija board together. This is where you get, back then they called it a Witchboard. Teledrop. Yeah. So that's where they are, and it spells out Uptown, which they said, there's this area outside of the city known as Uptown Woods. And so they go there. Somehow, Mitch knows that they're there, and tells them to leave. I guess she told him I think she did. Wikipedia left it out. I think she told him the address or something, but I couldn't find like a woods. Yeah. And he and Russell have an altercation. They don't like each other. They've had a couple altercations. Then Mitch is attacked by the entity, causing him to have a car accident, and he ends up in the hospital. Yeah. Russell then thinks that she was contacting a demon, which is causing her to have progressive entrapment. Now, the Wikipedia page claims that Russell starts to have second thoughts when he sees the earring. That's how it happens in the movie. He sees it and goes, oh, how do you know that's her earring? That's second thoughts, and I don't know. But he points out all of the symptoms that she has. Dressing sexier, swearing, all that stuff. Fainting. Elaine then gets killed in what is one of the most hilarious things. Like, there's like a garbage truck or something, or some kind of truck that kind of explodes and just crushes her. I don't know. It's not supposed to be hilarious, but it was. I don't know if the effect didn't work the way they wanted, and they couldn't do it again. They just kept it. I don't know, but yeah. So she goes to talk to Russell in his studio, trying to convince him that this is real. He gets pissed because she keeps using the damn Ouija board after he said not to. And then during this, she finds a photo of Susan. And is like, he was directing me to Upton, not Uptown. And I'm like, oh, okay, so he's the killer, and he moved it, the W, so it wouldn't spell Upton. No, he's one of the most innocent people in this movie. He has no idea what's going on. The only thing I think of is that Susan, the evil spirit Susan or whatever, was framing him so that she would have an ally, I guess. And during this, Mitch has left the hospital to find Paige. So she flees into the bedroom. It says bedroom, but I think it's actually a dark room. That's what it looked like to me. But whatever. Knocks herself in there. Russell's trying to break the door down. Now, if he's trying to prove he's innocent, this is not doing him any favors, but I don't know. The only thing I think of is he's trying to stop her from being possessed or something. Mitch shows up to save the day. Okay. So this says, it is revealed that the killer is Elaine and her accomplice is Jonas. No, that's what Russell says. I think it was Elaine who did it and Jonas was her accomplice. It's not ever specifically said if they had Paige, who is Susan, who is possessing Paige now, confirm it. So what I can gather from this is that Jonas was forcing Susan to have sex for the rent. And Elaine found out and killed her for it. I can only assume that Jonas flipped it around. I don't know. It doesn't make much sense. They don't try to clarify it. Because, like, okay, your husband is technically cheating on you. Does he turn around and say, oh, she seduced me, and then she kills her, and then it's fine? He got away with it? I don't know. But then, when he finally tells Paige to get out, she is no longer Paige. I do like Mitch's response. Who the hell are you? And I was waiting for Russell to go, Susan? But no, he's just like, I don't know. She flings Mitch out the window, but he manages to hold on to the fire escape. Susan kills Russell with an axe, and just as he comes back in, she keeps going back and forth between herself and Paige. I do like the line that when she's hitting on one of them, I think it might be Russell, or something like, I know you liked me, and I know you liked Paige. Now you can fuck both of us. I'm like, at the same time, and I'm like, technically, but since you're possessing her body, it's more you than her. I don't know. Then we get. This is always going to be a stupid way to get rid of an evil spirit. She tries to kill Mitch, but he keeps pleading, fight it, Susan! Or fight it, Paige! Fight it! She does, and is expelled from the body, and she's going to move somewhere else. I guess that's how it ends. So, oh, and there's like a garbage man who finds a Ouija board with the pen in it because they set up the pen to write things. That's another thing that Russell calls out, where it's like, look at how you spelled that and how this is spelled in the signature. It's different. Well, yeah, but that doesn't mean it's not Susan. You see, when a person dies, sometimes their spirit becomes malevolent. This is a malevolent spirit. It died in a murderous vengeance from Elaine. It seems like Elaine killed her in vengeance for sleeping with her husband. That creates a malevolent spirit. She now wants revenge. It's not thinking right. It's not going to do everything exactly, right? A dark presence is taking over that spirit. So it's not 100% Susan. It's malevolent. It's not the Susan you remember when she was alive. It's a malevolent spirit. Now, so it's not going to write the name the same. It's best I can explain it. My knowledge on supernatural and everything, but this was alright. I'll give it a middle of the road. The first one's better, of course, but it gets points for Amy Dolenz. Gorgeous woman. So, yeah. So come back tomorrow. I plan on doing. I've got nothing so far for my personal life. The issue that's going on I was talking about. So far, there's nothing. I might get more information tomorrow, but we'll see. So I'm going to keep on going while I can. So hopefully tomorrow I can do Witchboard 3. Which is... I'm starting to realize that these movies are not connected in any way, shape, or form. This one's not connected to the first one at all. It just has Kevin S. Tenney writing it. And there's a Ouija board in it. Same thing with the next one. And from what I read of the remake, it's not even a remake of the story from the original. It's a different story. It's like Prom Night. It's supposed to be a remake, but they do so much different with it. It could just be another sequel. You know? Same thing with Silent Night. Those ones are so different from the original source material. Those could just be another sequel, especially since their other sequels are like also not connected. 1, 2, and 3 are technically connected, but 4 and 5, no. What was the first one I mentioned too? I don't remember. Prom Night. 2 and 3 are connected, the Prom Nights. Loosely. They have the character of Mary Lou, and they all take place at the same high school, except for the remake does not, which I thought was weird. They could just use the same high school. And yes, I'm one of those who prefers the remake over the original. I think the original one is too generic. Sorry. I don't like the reveal. At least in the new one, the remake, you know who the killer is. It's PG-13, but I grew up in the 2000s where PG-13 horror was all the rage, and this was towards the end of that, so that's why I'm a little bit less hard on that. But so what are your thoughts on Witchboard 2? Leave a comment below, like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'm Sky, and I'll see you in the next one.